Oh, chat.
I have nothing.
We'll wait for people to gather around and we'll start in a minute.
Yeah, please close the answers. Thank you. Yeah, I also don't hear sound, by the way, on your stream. Is there a sound?
No, I've switched off music because there's copyright. But people can hear us. People can hear us doing this. I think this is a perfect start to the stream. Two boomers are here together.
Boomers, okay. Awkward of you, because I was thinking like, am I the boomer or are you the boomer? But of course, we're both the boomers.
We're both boomers, Anish. I didn't have permission for copyright-free music today, but here we are. Everybody, welcome to the stream. I'm very, very excited to bring back Coffin with Karan. We've done 4 episodes of this, then we went on a 2-month break, and there is no one better than to restart this series with the one, the only, the Grandmaster, #1 in Netherlands and top 10 in the world, Mr. Anish Giri. Welcome to the stream, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you so much for agreeing. I remember I asked you sometime in April, and then you said that you're preparing for the candidates, obviously. So let's do it in May. And you're the first person I followed up. You're the first person I've asked for a video, and they've come back themselves in May. You messaged me on your own and said, "Where do you want to do it?"
No, that's true. But I was desperate. I was desperate for attention. No, but actually, I of course remembered that. And the thing is, I never forget because every now and then you post some Instagram video with some kind of card trick, and that's always a reminder for me to get back. So it was, I couldn't forget. No, nice. I like those Instagram videos. I'm really digging those.
I mean, most of those are just sort of time pass magic, not the kind of things I do on stage, but Instagram is just me putting out things just for the heck of it. Let's have Anish OP in chat before we begin, before I start asking all the serious questions. Let's have a quick Anish OP in chat. It's been a while since we've seen you on stream, and I'm really glad you're here.
Thank you.
So usually it starts with a question. The first question I ask all my guests is exactly the same. But given what's happened today, it's going to be a slightly different question. How mad are you at Elon Musk right now? Are you investing in crypto?
Well, I wouldn't say, in general, I don't think people should sort of speak too much about their financial business.
Of course.
But even, let's say, even if I would, it wouldn't be anything that I wouldn't be fine with losing.
Okay,
so
cool.
I think it's a lot of fun, of course, to follow these things.
Yeah.
But you have to. It's not like an easy way of quickly making some money because that's very risky. If that's your purpose, then I mean you can gamble, of course, but that's essentially just gambling. I see it a little bit like a casino with I guess better odds than casino. I guess you have more than 50% that you do
slightly
well.
better odds.
I think so. I think it's like gambling with fine odds, but it's still gambling.
Yeah.
So you should gamble with what you can afford to lose.
Yeah.
And I think the big asset is if you can afford to wait. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Like you only really lose once you sell, right? So if you have the time, so you have the other money and you play with the house money, I think that's completely fine.
That's awesome. I think one of the things that you said there was something about purpose, where if your purpose is just to make a quick buck, then that's probably not the best idea. And that's usually the first question that I ask, the purpose in life. Why is it that Anish Giri does what he does? Why do you play chess?
Yeah, well, I think people they well, the privileged people, let's say, and I definitely belong to privileged people, those who can afford to do what they want to do, right? Because you have a lot of people who just have to do things to get by, to survive, and they don't really have a choice. Yeah, they just do whatever comes their way. But those who are privileged, I think you sort of justify and find reasons for why you do what you do, but at the end of the day, you just do what you enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think I just really enjoy doing what I'm doing.
You just really enjoy
Simple as
chess.
that.
And that's been the case ever since
for
you
sure.
got into the game.
Yeah, for sure. And I never really had a choice. I mean, after my school, I really didn't have a choice whether I'll continue with chess or continue with studies, because I was competing at a very high level, and it was kind of, it just didn't make any sense to not continue the chess.
Yeah.
So I kind of, it was just always a thing to do.
To get into chess. Makes sense. I think that's something that you loved, and I think that's one of the answers that I hear most often, that you love it. But I think one of the things that you pointed out there is about the privilege, that you had that privilege that you could take it up. A lot of people,
For sure.
I think when you're starting off, chess can be an expensive sport as well, to get into, take all the tutorials and everything. If you want Adi's B3 course, it is quite expensive.
No, I mean the B3 course, obviously, but no. But actually, on a serious note, I don't think that chess is expensive compared to any other sport. I think even your magic toolboxes are more expensive than chessboard.
That's true. That's
I mean,
true.
let's be real. But I think it's more that it's not that the chess is expensive. It's more that you could be doing something which could be
More
potentially, let's say you could be studying and then getting a job and becoming an engineer.
Yeah.
If instead you are spending your time doing chess, and essentially you're not gonna become a professional, then of course, it's going to be. And if you don't have the financial means, or your parents don't have that, then or you're not, let's say, too good from the start, then you cannot afford to do that. But I was very fortunate that from early age I was pretty good, and it's very quickly I started to make a living with it as well. So it was never really a financial worry. So I could just afford to do what I love doing.
Nice. That's amazing. I think the reason I got you here, Anish, the reason I thought that you'll be a fun person to do a podcast with, I recently started playing a lot of chess. Sagar Shah has been training me every now and then, and I started playing a lot. And from 600, I reached 1200 in about 4 or 5 months, and I had a lot of fun with the game. And I was really, really sort of getting into it when the Tata Steel Masters was on, where you were absolutely killing it. And I remember when that things didn't go as we would have hoped, you came on Sagar's stream right after that, and everybody, the fan base, me included, everyone who was rooting for you, all of us really felt bad that you didn't make it.
And then I started crying, and it was really awkward.
No, but then you just came on and you're like, yeah, okay, it's just a tournament. And we're like, we're sadder than him. And he's just so cool about it. He didn't care. Is that why do you have that attitude? I mean, it's brilliant that you have it, but where does that come from?
I don't know how it is for you. I guess that you must have some minor failures as well, no? I mean, there must be things that go wrong during a show, let's say, right?
Yeah.
That you are unhappy with, yeah?
Of course.
But I don't know, like, I don't know if it's the same for you as it is for me. Like, I think really the fact that there is something coming after that is what makes it much easier.
That you know it's not the end.
That you just have, I mean, you have to move forward. I imagine if somebody told me that, Anish, this is your last tournament. After this, we're closing the door, it's over. Everything is over, for what it was. This is your last tournament. You haven't, let's say, this is it. You're either going to win it or not. And after that, it's finished. This is really it. Probably I would really be heartbroken if I wouldn't have won it.
You know it's not
and if
the
I would
end.
have, if I would have been, but now the thing is, like, you have to, and it's even the same thing, like, during a tournament, after a game, you think about the next one immediately, because you have to really get ready for the next one. And for me, I always have to get ready for the next one, even if and that's the same with winning or losing. And also after I win the tournaments, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, it's great that you won the tournament, but you have to play tomorrow. Maybe it will be different if, let's say, I play the last game of the World Championship match and then I win it, and then let's say I can sort of see it as some sort of an end of something. But right now I'm just playing tournaments, and if I win one or not, I mean, I still have the next one coming.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what it is. I think it's just the fact that there is something coming next that makes you see things differently.
That is amazing. Also, Sohani, thank you so much for the raid. Whoever comes from Sohani's channel, please like and subscribe. And also go subscribe to Anish Giri and everywhere on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Thank you, Sohani. Love you. I think what you said there, the most interesting thing for me over there was where you pointed out that despite winning or losing, there's another game, another tournament right around the corner. And the most amazing thing for me about that is that just proves your first answer that you love the game. Win or lose, you love it regardless because there's another tournament coming. So the two answers that you've sort of given so far are kind of linked. You love it, so you don't really care whether you're winning or losing. Of course, you're playing.
No, I really care. I really care. I really care. I really, really care, of course. But it's just that I think
you don't
I just sort of shift.
You.
Yeah, well, it does emotionally affect me as well. Of course, I get upset and I get very happy as well. But it's just that my thoughts, they shift towards, and in general, I sort of, the way I kind of function is that I'm always thinking of the things that I have to be doing, the sort of targets I have to complete. Mm-hmm. That could be in chess. That could also be in life. For example, if I want to, I don't know, if I sometimes, for example, we had like a roof leaking and I need to have the roof fixed. Yeah. So like it's constant, like it's problem solving that you have to sort of do. And I'm always, so I have, let's say, a tournament that I have to play. And then, once it's done, for, the better or worse, then it's done. But then it's the next one. So I think that's really, really that. So it's not that I don't care about the result. It's just that I have to think about the next one. Because, in fact, interesting, for example, in chess, you've got this rating system, right? You've got the rating. Mm-hmm. You mentioned you became 1200. Yeah. But you know that, okay, so there is also the official FIDE rating list. That's the for the professionals. And that rating it's of course a mathematical formula, right? You gain or lose with every game. Mm-hmm. But remarkably, it is made of your last, I think, something like 70 games. So what it means is, imagine you have, let's say there is you with, imagine you would have, let's not take you. Let's take a random guy with 2,000. 2,000 FIDE rated guy. He is not a title player. He is, of course, not a noob. He's a club player. And let's take Magnus Carlsen with 2,800 something. Mm-hmm. Now, if these two, for the next 70 games, 70 just 70 games, it's essentially a year, will perform at exactly the same level, they will have the same rating. So in a way, with your next 70 games, you can make up for all your previous life.
Oh, wow.
That's just the way mathematically it works. Because if you have a lower rating, then you gain faster. If you have a higher rating, then you gain slower. Yeah. But essentially, after 70 games, you gain that new rating. It's like you are, like this. You've got these lizards that drop their old tail and it gets new.
It regenerates.
So in a way, So you can sort of always whatever you have happened in the past with your results. You can go essentially back. After 70 games, it's all irrelevant. So you have to kind of move forward.
Oh wow! Does that influence your life in any way, like outside of chess? Because you kind of had this attitude. There's always something coming up next.
Yeah, I think so. I think that many chess players, from how I see when I see their interviews or watch them in live and stuff, I think they're very good at taking the basically accepting things as they are and moving forward, and with good things and bad things as well. So, for example, some can get imagine suddenly you win the lottery, or let's say you bought Bitcoin at the right moment and you didn't sell it today, but you sold it at the right moment. You got really rich, and you also see some people, something bad happens to them or something like that, but somehow they really move forward very fast. I think that it's because I think it's essential for chess players. Like, you have to be able also during the game, sometimes or inevitably you'll miss something. You'll miss a move, right? And there will be something that goes against what we're hoping for. And then you should be able to just brush it off and think of the next move. And I think that reflects in life for sure, because that's the quality you really learn as a chess player. You really learn that failure is inevitable, like a temporary failure. Let's say it's inevitable that you will miss some move during the game. Something will go wrong in that game. That's almost inevitable. and then you learn after time and again that it happens. You learn that, well, it's fine as long as it doesn't affect my next move, it's okay. So I think that's for sure very helpful. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that.
That's amazing. I think even
yeah.
in life, I think a lot of people can learn from that. Where if one thing goes wrong, that's not the end of the world. Things,
Literally.
yeah, things will go
Yeah.
wrong. It's how you deal with
As
them.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because nothing is ever in your control. You might have a bad day. Maybe if you're playing chess, you have a terrible headache and you go for a game and you probably don't have your best of days. But that doesn't mean
Yeah.
that all your career is going to go for a toss because of that one bad game.
I think all people in general are quite good at that. Like humans, like biologically, humans are very good at accepting things the way they are. Because I think if humans wouldn't be able to do that, like we would be pretty weak as species. But now we're quite strong because things go wrong,
Yeah.
and we are able to move on. I think that's like a human thing, but it just in particular teaches you to make that even better, because very often people get really upset and they start dwelling on some things that like are really, really not important in the long run. I mean, if something small, like if you fail some exam or something minor, okay, failing exam is kind of stupid because it's your own fault. But let's say something that
like you get fired from your job. You get fired from your job, for example.
Yeah, because let's say you got fired from your job, not because of your own wrongdoing, but because of, let's say, something. Yeah, I mean, of course, if you look back at it 10 years later, you will think like, wow, I've got lucky there because my current job is much better or whatever. You never know. Basically, you never know. It might all work out for the better if you move forward.
I think there's a Steve Jobs quote which said you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you look backwards and then you realize that things had to go a certain way. Don't spam just, Game of Fleet, thank you. If you're also raiding, thank you so much. I didn't know if that was a real raid. Everyone seems to be raiding us tonight. Samay, you're the only one left, and then we'll have all 4 members of Chokri who've raided. Let's take a quick super chat. Someone says, great respect for Anish. It is Archit who says, great respect for Anish. And it's the best sense of humor I've ever seen in my life. Does that feel like a compliment to you when people tell you that you've got the best sense of humor they've ever?
No, I don't think like that's something you sort of can compare. I think many people are a lot of fun. I enjoy also your streams. Whenever I see you come on stream,
you enjoy my streams.
I think you're great. yeah, I think you're great fun. I mean, I cannot follow everything and all, but whenever I've seen you, I always enjoy it. I think there's lots of entertaining personalities these days. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, man. If there's one takeaway that you can have from this stream is that Anish Giri watches Karan Singh Boomer every now and then. That's the biggest.
No, Karan Singh Magic.
Karan Singh Magic. Karan Singh Magic. Anish Giri watches Karan Singh Magic.
Karan Singh Boomer is just a waste of time.
Karan Singh Boomer is nice. Yeah, Karan Singh Boomer is a waste of time. I would totally agree. Thank you for being on the channel.
In fact, the only reason I agreed is I thought it was Karan Singh Magic channel.
Nice. Joy Datta.
No, I'm obviously kidding. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Joy Datta, thank you for being here. He says, AG is such a witty guy, great sense of humor. What is his opinion on acceptance of humor and jokes in modern day world? Do you have an opinion on that, where people get offended on jokes?
I think that especially in India, like it's really because, well, my understanding at least is that it's quite sort of I would say like not a very sort of flexible. There are a lot of members of society that have very traditional view on many things, and a lot of things are strict. And comedians, they have this incredible excuse of saying I'm a comedian, and then be able to say whatever they want. I mean, this is such a trick. It's a trick, of course. You realize, I mean, they're just saying what anyone else would be saying, and then they say, "Oh, I'm a comedian. You cannot harass me for me. I'm just doing my job. I just want to make people laugh." Yeah, I mean, no, you are, of course, but I mean, this is just an excuse, And I think that's why it works so well. That's why it's also so popular right now in India, and because it's just a fantastic excuse to have.
It is. Yeah. But has it ever happened to you? Because I know I personally love your sense of humor, and I think it is that almost sort of dry, I won't say British, but it is this sort of almost British sense of humor that you have, which is fairly dry. It has that sarcasm to it, which I personally enjoy. But I'm sure there are people, have there been people in your life that have been offended by any joke that you made?
Have there been people that have not been offended? It's terrible. No, it's terrible.
How do you deal with that? Do people come up to you and say, "Oh, please don't joke about that"? What do you say then?
No, but you probably know that yourself. Like especially when you really try to sort of do it, you inevitably end up making some bad jokes. Like it's inevitable, and sometimes they are also offended for a reason, because every now and then you sort of make a joke and you sort of try to estimate, try to learn, but because you do it so much, at some point you are misfiring and you really cross some line of being slightly offensive, or you appear.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I think that's just part of it. I try not to cross any big lines, like not to get canceled and stuff, definitely, or not to. Not to really offend people too badly.
Yeah.
So I try to sort of really stay within
Yeah.
the limits. But it also depends on people, and you have to know. And very often what happens is that you think you know the person, and you think it's fine, but then it turns out it's not. But then you sort of move on. I mean, I haven't said anything really. I'm also not like a professional comedian, so I cannot use that excuse, right?
That I'm a comedian.
So I have to stay within some lines.
No, but
I try to.
You know what? If there was a comedian here, that is golden advice. That you need to know your audience, know the room, so that you don't cross a line. Like, I can't be on stage in a place which takes offense to, let's say, mobile phones and make jokes on mobile phones. I can't be doing that. There will be people who get offended. So that's
mobile phones are very sensitive topic.
Very sensitive topic.
Yeah, I mean, geez.
I tried to come up with something else, but then I thought I'm going to get cancelled. So let's just say the first thing that comes into my mind.
Mobile phones is
very sensitive.
Mobile phones, very sensitive.
You know,
I mean, Nokia.
You can't talk. Samsung's phones blow up every now and then. Let's not go.
Let's not go there. I mean, it's too risky.
I agree. Someone. Kumar Ankush says, when are you going to start streaming on YouTube again?
Oh yeah, no, it's tough because so many things to do, and with the tournament especially coming up, it's so hard to get the times, because you have to also prepare. It's not only play but also prepare.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find some time, but I think probably once the tournaments will, because now there's really a lot after each other, a lot in a row.
Yeah.
I think once the season will sort of come down a bit, maybe I'll definitely get back.
Streaming. Yeah. What part of the game, apart from the actual match, do you enjoy the most? Is the preparation? Is it the relaxation after the tournament? What is it that you enjoy the most?
Yeah, I think I really like probably the preparation, just to sort of to come up with the game plan, to come up with an idea of what to do against certain opponent. Mm-hmm. I think I find that a lot of fun. And often I even catch myself, like, during the tournament thinking that, okay, like, I've figured, let's say, the plan for this guy already, and I would already think about the next one, but I still haven't finished this game. So it's sometimes I'm even trying to run ahead of myself and realize that, okay, that's really not the way to go. You have to, of course, focus on the guy you play next. But I really like to sort of
go ahead.
So I really do enjoy that. And of course, it's a very nice feeling. It's this very short, brief moment that you enjoy after you've won, and before you think that of the things that you have to be doing next.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very sweet moment, of course, as well. But it's like some short moment that you are always chasing that moment, and it's never there long enough.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. I think that last line, we're always chasing that moment, but it's not always there.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is like life, because...
You can say that about a lot of things, yeah.
That's true. Let's not get cancelled. Let's not get cancelled. That's true. But I think the most interesting thing what you said there is that you try to get ahead. Is that you sort of setting expectations for yourself because you know that you'll go ahead in the tournament and maybe face somebody else and you're preparing for that person too?
No, it's not at all that. No, that's not at all that. It's just the fact that I enjoy the part where I try to find the approach to the player, to prepare against that player. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, like, after I've completed that part, so like first let's say you have to set out a plan, right? Mm-hmm. Like what you're gonna do. You come up with that plan. So you try to find weakness in your opponent's repertoire. You try to find some strengths in your own, and so you have that worked out. And then of course you have to play the game. Mm-hmm. And then you have to, that game finishes, then you have to start preparing for the next one. But like sometimes I enjoy that part of preparing so much that once I complete it, instead of playing the game, I'm already thinking that I would like to do that. Yeah.
Life would be so easy if it's just preparation.
No, but I mean, there are jobs like that. Yeah, if you're a coach or a second or trainer of a player, True. You are only doing that. You're only doing but I must say that I would really miss playing, because the playing, it gives you something else, and it brings a lot of tension with it. Of course, there is a lot of tension, and especially when there is failure, it could also be painful. Mm-hmm. But and besides the failure itself, there is the fear of failure, which is even worse because it's like in fact, the failure is easier than the actual fear of failure. The anticipation of you failing, that's like the worst part, I think.
So you're
Like
saying
you imagining.
failure is worse than
Yeah.
the fear of failure, or the
No,
fear
no, 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 no,
the
no.
fear
I
of
think
failure
no.
is
I think
worse?
that of course, like the threat is stronger than the execution.
Yeah.
The same here.
I agree.
It's also like if it's positive, it's the same. Like for example, I don't know about you, but I love that moment when I've decided I'm going to go to McDonald's. But no, like so I've decided. I've
I'm
seen
going.
McDonald's. I've taken the decision. I am going to McDonald's, and I am feeling so
Happy
great.
about it, yeah.
I am feeling tremendous. And then as I walk in, I stand in the line. I'm thinking what I'm going to order. I'm ordering. I'm taking. The moment I take the first bite, it's shit.
Damn, it's not that good.
It's just shit.
That's true.
It's just shit. I mean, it's for a reason shit. It
That's
tastes
true.
like shit.
It tastes like
And
shit, sure.
after, it's disgusting because you already know that already stomach feels like, yeah, you should have just had a normal meal, you know? Already know what's going to happen the
Just a
next day.
sandwich at home is all that you should have had.
Yeah, no, you know, but you live for that moment
Yeah.
to it, you know, and it's the same with the bad things as well. It's like, or let's say if you are afraid of needles, yeah, and you're getting a whatever vaccine or whatever, you are afraid of the needle, right?
Mm-hmm.
The moment the needle goes in, okay, it's nothing. It's just that anticipation that you are in the line
You're
with the
about
doctor, you know, and it's the same thing here as well. So I think the failure is okay. It's just that this whole process that you are. Yeah. So that's but this at the same time, like I really wouldn't be able not to play chess because the potential, the rewards, and you know that whole thrill of playing. And because if you are just preparing and if you are just a coach, you don't get that same thrill because you sort of you won't. I really like that in chess or in sports. Many people most jobs they don't have that, but like with sport, you don't really know what's going to happen, you know, and there is always that potential to gain something huge. Like if you just have an ordinary job, you go every day, like the best thing that could ever happen to you is you maybe get a bonus or something, or maybe not even, but like you can sort of predict what's going to happen. You sort of know what's going to happen. And essentially
you an appraisal in a year, you might get promoted.
But like the sort of the bad and the good is really, really small. So it's basically going to be the same. And then many people, they switch their focus towards their rest of their life, which is normal, like towards, of course, the family and the hobby, and they enjoy the hobbies and the families. And I also do that. But like in my case, I can also really enjoy my profession because there's such a big spread of what could the amount of emotion it could give me. So that's kind of fun.
Are you able to separate the two, the family and the profession?
Yeah, for sure. Separate for sure because and I'm really helped by my wife because she's also she used to be a professional chess player.
I know.
So she's a very strong player, and she kind of understands the amount of space you need to be able to compete. So in that sense, for sure, you have to separate. You cannot mix these things together. It's just otherwise it's unattainable.
That's standards too high for yourself. That makes sense. I think that's amazing that you're able to do that. One of the things that you spoke about was the fear of failure is bigger than the failure itself, and the process is more annoying. One thing that was coming into my mind, I told you about that I had a relationship for about 6-7 years, and then that ended. And in that relationship, the biggest decision we had together was, what do we eat for dinner today? And it was me usually suggesting, can we eat this? Can we eat this? And I knew what I wanted to eat. And I'd reached a point where I knew how I'm going to win over that conversation and get to eat what I really want to eat, but make it feel like her idea. And then in the end, the last thing I suggest, this is what we want to eat. He said yes. And then it's like shitty McDonald's by the end of the day. So that's the only process that I can think of. The world needs more Anish, says Sam Roberts, and he's waiting for the day Anish meets Tanmay. Have you streamed with Tanmay?
No, but one day he raided me. He raided me one day. It was the most beautiful day of my life, obviously. No, but you had to see. It was really good. I even have some kind of YouTube video on my channel. It's really, it's good stuff. Yeah, it was really funny.
Nice.
Really funny.
Please go check it out.
No, I think he. I don't know too much about him, of course. I read up a little bit, and I know, of course, from Vidit and Samay, and he seems to have
a lot of FIRs.
But I think he sort of really helped direct Samay, I think, I guess. That's the impression I got from little information I have, that he helped Samay and surely a lot of other friends of his on their way, you know, because it was very unclear times with the lockdown and all that. and I think he really saw the directions in which they should be moving. And I think Samay ended up having a great career.
Yeah.
Starting off with streaming and, well, of course, comedy first and then streaming and whatnot. So
Yeah, I think that
sure.
Tanmay's definitely helped me as well. Tanmay's helped all of us, I think, because if Tanmay didn't start streaming, none of us would be streaming right now. None of us would be here. This podcast wouldn't be happening. So I think Tanmay is the real OG when it comes to that, for sure. Bhavesh says, how do you change yourself from managing time on both working and enjoying doing things you like? How do you manage your time? Because I think even before we got on the podcast, people were talking about how you know about everything that's happening around you, and you're acing what you do as well. So how do you find time for
Well,
everything?
that's very, very hard. I think that's the hardest part, of course, for many people. Like, how do you manage the time? Because I think like the best thing you can do is not to waste the time doing something, like, because a lot of time is wasted with really stupid things. I also waste it sometimes. Like, you could scroll some random, I don't know, TikTok videos, let's say. I mean, it could be good if there is a purpose to it. Like, if, let's say, the purpose is really to relax and take your mind off things, then TikTok videos are really good. But let's say, I think the moment you drop all the bad habits, let's say, then already that's a good step. And whether you spend a little more time with family or a little more time with chess or a little more time
doing a podcast
on some other useful... Yeah, exactly. That's already arbitrary. I think that's sort of the key. Like, it's really not a good idea to spend like 3 hours playing some game that really is not going to bring you much. And I mean, in this context, I don't mean game like chess. I mean like game, let's say, that just is for just nothing but a time pass.
Yeah, like me playing FIFA on stream. It's just useless.
No, okay, but in that I guess in this context, that is you're building your streaming career. So that's the excuse you use, right?
Yeah, that's the exact excuse I use. Then eventually we'll sell show tickets. That's my entire
exactly.
Anish, do you have a process? Like, before a show, there's something that I do. I know that I sit backstage, and there is this the last conversation that I had with my grandfather, who I really looked up to. That's something that I think of every single time before I go up on stage, because that sort of helps me get into the zone. Is there something that you do before a match? I'm sure there is, but...
But sir, you said you had you think of your last conversation you had with your grandfather.
Yeah, because he was this huge inspiration for me, and he's the one who sort of really got me into magic. And there's this
that's
thing
such a beautiful story.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Go
on.
Have you told the story before, or?
No, I've never told the story. I think you're the first person I'm telling after the girl I dated for 6 years. For some reason, I chose that. I think Anish Giri would be a nice person to tell you.
It's very awkward, sir. It's very awkward.
No, I've told a few people, but first time on stream.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. No, that's... Wow, no, that's very cool. I just can imagine sort of what it is, but no, I don't think I have that one thing that I think that you need that something that you sort of hold on to for some extra confidence, right? Something like it could be like a token, let's say, that you have, or a thought, like in your case. Yeah, it's like there's something that's comforting. Yeah, like it gives you the extra confidence. It gives you the feel that things are going to be right.
Yeah.
And I think the sportsmen, they also have that. But I think that you don't necessarily need to have it like a one thing that is constantly there. But like I have usually these things they develop during an event. So for example, during the last tournament, I started before the game to listen like for 15 minutes to a particular podcast. I've never listened to it before, and I'll never listen to it again. But like somehow that was that, let's say, during that event, and during some other events or something. So I developed some sort of routine during an event, but it's not a set routine during every event. I think, and I really like it because I think I would go a little bit. I really like to change things at some point, so I would get a little bit bored with the one same thing over and over. Yeah. So I think that's why I changed them. Yeah.
But I'm guessing you prefer being alone just before a game. You like to be with your own self. You won't like people around you.
People, no, not people. I mean, no, I don't mean animals. I mean, like, I do like to have something external, like, for example, a video or a song or something, but not another person. No, because another person can also say or do things that you cannot predict and stuff. Like, you want something that,
things that you can control just before a game.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
What's your happiest moment as a chess player, or do you think it's yet to come?
For sure that, but The happiest, I don't know. I mean, I can sort of think of moments where I should have been the happiest, let's say.
Okay, go on.
And so,
Where people
so
would want
those
you to be the
are,
happiest.
yeah. I should have been the happiest when, for example, I beat Magnus Carlsen the first time. He was the world number one at the time. I think I was 16 at the time.
wow.
It was in the Vaikanze tournament, the same one that was
Steel.
this year, in January. Tata Steel, and that was huge because I got so much media attention at the time, and it was so big. I can't recall necessarily that I was like happy though. I mean, no, for sure it was great, but I don't have like some kind of like, I can't remember. Yeah, I mean, I was of course happy, content, but I cannot say that like I'm looking back and I was like happy or something. So somehow in general, this whole happiness business, I told you, I don't think that that's like something that you sort of. I think it's more that you are working towards that. It's like that. It's like that McDonald's thing, except that the meal is actually good.
The meal's actually good.
But even if the meal is good, it's like
it was supposed
like
to be
curve.
good. Yeah.
It's like a curve with a peak somewhere. I give you that. And you could call the peak the happiness, but really you would feel like it's not. Let's say it's not the mountain that you reach, but it's like it's like a hill that, and you keep going and moving. And I think that sometimes you peak at that moment, and but it's not like, I mean, the moment you are happy, I think it's all like relative. Like there is a difference. It's like the. When you have these graphs as well, you have the graph in math, but you have that in every particular point in the graph, there is this other line, derivative or something, or how it's called. The one that
I'm terrible at maths, but and economics.
But the one
I get what you mean.
There is a direction,
The
it's
X
the last
and
thing
Y
I remember
axis.
from my math class. It's the last thing I remember from the math class. After that, I was blank.
That was blank. I reached the top. That's good.
The X and Y thing.
Yeah.
You've got some sort of graph.
That's
and
all I
every point
remember.
in the graph.
Tangent. I think
Chad
Chad says tangent.
Tangent. I don't know. Maybe it's a tangent.
Summer
but basically, so like,
it's there.
I don't think it's somehow,
So
it's elusive. This
you're
whole
saying there will
happiness
be
thing.
happiness, but then there will be moments when you're not as happy. You will have to come down. I think you have to be sad to eventually know what happiness is.
Yeah, it's all about the difference. I mean, if you are literally always happy, you no longer are happy.
Yeah.
You're just how you are. If you are always sad, you are also not longer always sad. Sad
That's
and
just who
happiness,
you are.
that is something relative to how you feel normally, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the difference.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you are happy for a while, after a while, you are used to that feeling. You're no longer happy. You are looking for something else, more, or for something else, or. By the way, your chat completely. Somebody says integration is slope. Sometimes says some sinusoidal. Definitely not sinusoidal curve, guys.
I think even chat doesn't know. Chat was in the same class that we were in.
dy divided by dx. That sounds familiar. Dy divided by dx. Yeah, that's the. I think that's the one.
And just because it sounds complicated does not mean that it might be the thing.
No. But that rings a bell. Dy divided by dx. Derivative is slope divided by tangent. Yeah. Derivative. I think. Derivative. Yeah.
Makes sense. I like how we have this huge conversation about maybe you can't always be happy and you can't do this and you can't do that, and there's this little board behind you that says do more of what makes you happy. That's this little thing right behind you.
No, but that thing is it's not there like it's there sort of by accident. It's not really like there is purpose or thought to it. We got it as a gift from my wife's sister, and I also think she just picked it out randomly. Like she was at the shop, she saw some kind of thing with some letters. She was like, "These are some kind of nice letters." It says good things. It really was not like the Buddha, came down from the mountain and dropped his. No, it's not like this.
There was no thought behind it. It was just a toy show.
No, I think it's and it's more there like because behind it there's like a hole or something in the wall. I don't know like why. It's not really like it's not like there is like deep philosophical meaning behind it. Really.
Cool. I just thought it was coincidental that we had that behind you. Can you? There's.
We broke your chat. We broke your chat, by the way.
Yeah. Chat's been broken for a while. Karthik says, "How can you ask Anish how excited he is for another child after Danny and Samay?"
Yeah, no, I mean, not all my children are equally grown up. But for sure, very very exciting. It's like you never know, like hard to it's hard to really
Explain that happiness.
imagine what's going to happen and all that. So I'm not really thinking about it. I'm just sort of going to embrace things as they come and see what happens.
Yeah, I love that about you. Do you? I mean, some of the questions that the way you answered them, it leads me to ask: Are you like a goal-oriented person? Do you set goals that I want to do this, then I want to do this? Do you do that?
I don't think goals is the way. I set tasks that I have to complete. Because the thing with goals, as a chess player, it would be very hard because I can set a goal, let's say, but whether I'm going to accomplish it or not really does not only depend on me. But if I sort of set tasks, and of course I'm flexible. Let's say I have tasks like I want to complete 10 projects, let's say in a month. Imagine at some point things go certain way, like maybe suddenly my family needs my attention for whatever reason. Let's say suddenly I'm dragged into some holiday or whatever, and then I have only 1 week left. I no longer can perform these 10 tasks. Okay, then I shift to just performing 3 tasks. And that's also fine. So I'm flexible with that, but I set tasks, for myself that I try to complete. Because those you can complete, and then normally I expect these tasks to sort of help me reach the goal. But I think it's a bit, I'm not this rough on myself. Like, let's say if I have a goal of trying to become world champion in the next, let's say 5 years, and then if I fail that goal, that I should be angry on myself or what. I don't really understand how to deal with that, so I don't do that.
I totally agree with that. I think because if you set a goal and you achieve it, you're really happy, and then you want to set the next goal, next goal, and then your life just becomes that. But if you set a goal and then you don't achieve it, like you said, you become angry, sad. What do? So I personally don't believe in setting goals either.
No, but I guess you could also, for example, you could set a goal as like you want to become I don't know, let's say the Indian person with the most number of Instagram followers, let's say,
yeah.
But you cannot influence that because maybe Virat Kohli is just keeps on growing faster, and you cannot just do anything.
You can't chase him.
But what you can do is you can say, I'm going to make 3 Instagram posts today, let's say.
Yeah.
And this is something you can do. And okay, whether it will help you overtake Virat Kohli or not, you'll see. Probably not, by the way, but you'll see.
Or people will just get annoyed by the spam and unfollow you. I think that's what's
most likely, yes. But at least you completed your task. So it's and you're happy in that elusive moment of happiness. Yeah.
Someone says justice for Joy Datta. Why? I think I asked this question, didn't I? Oh, no. Oh, there's a very interesting question where Joy Datta says, how crucial is the role of a second in a tournament like candidates?
Yeah, for sure. It's a role that has to be fulfilled. Let's say it's because you need to not only help, prepare. It's very good to have someone to discuss things with, or someone who can bring something to your attention. Find literally some chess-related things as well, some moves that you missed, some ideas you didn't think of, but also just be there, in good moments and bad moments to speak, to say the right things, or at least not say the wrong ones. So for sure, important role. But it's very hard to, of course, to estimate how, let's say you scored a certain number of points or won somewhere, lost somewhere. You cannot really blame that on a second, let's say.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a very important factor, but one of the many factors that influences the result.
One of the many factors. Do you? Someone says, apart from chess and Twitter, what does AG do in his free time? Let's talk about Twitter before that. Let's talk about Twitter before you tell me what you do in your free time. Your Twitter is probably the most interesting Twitter feed I have seen in my life. And I'm not saying this to flatter you. I genuinely mean it. I think it's so funny. And it's just so lighthearted in moments which aren't necessarily supposed to be lighthearted. But
there are so many better Twitter. Like there is like a channel with things that look like faces or something, I mean, that is a much better Twitter feed. I mean, there's so many of those.
No, but
so you really are overselling it. You are overselling it. But
okay, maybe
I'm flattered. I'm flattered. Yeah. No, okay, it's just I sort of like it. I think I in general I like to have some means of relaxation.
Yeah.
And I like humor, so I watch some comedy, short comedy sketches, comedy shows. I watch your Instagram tricks, with magic. I like to sort of, and I like especially if the entertainment is kind of quick, because I don't want to spend too much time.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience. I don't want to spend too much time. Also, I want to do too many other things. And I also like when there is a little bit of an intellectual challenge. Like, for example, if you have a card trick, I try to think for 10 seconds how you did it.
Yeah.
I know, I don't know, and then I move on. But I still like to sort of try and think a bit. And I think in that sense, in Twitter, you can think for 10 seconds about something.
Yeah.
And so I like it. But yeah, really, there are many. I mean, there are a lot of. There are a lot of hilarious stuff on Twitter. A lot of funny people and funny stuff. So I like that. It's basically sort of humor, pretty much for me.
For me, I think
and some news.
And some news, of course. I think for me, there's very few sports people who can diffuse tension the way you do. I think there is this. I think you don't appreciate it enough about yourself. I think you have this thing where you can diffuse tension. I think that. Do you follow football at all?
A little bit, yeah.
So there's this football manager who I really look up to, this man called Jose Mourinho, who used to manage Chelsea, and he had this thing. He could diffuse tension like that, and maybe he put it on himself. He never let it go on the players, and he could diffuse tension maybe with a joke, maybe with a quick quote. Somebody asked him about pressure. He said, "What pressure? There's no pressure. Pressure is bird flu in Scotland because I can't eat my next meal. A football game is no pressure." But of course, he's feeling the pressure because he wants to win the league, and he's diffusing the tension amongst the players and himself by saying things like that. Do you think you're doing that on Twitter by putting those jokes out after a huge game just to diffuse the tension? Maybe for yourself?
But yeah, part of it is that for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Also, I don't know if it's conscious or not, but I've been sort of dragged onto social media already for a long time because there's a lot of chess on social media as well.
Yeah.
And people are anyway writing things about you, you want it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And it is kind of better if you kind of are a little bit in control of these social media waves yourself rather than let others do that. Yeah. And also I have the advantage, let's say, when sometimes I write something that sort of ups the stakes a little bit, I think I have experience sort of in handling that, but some of my opponents don't. And a lot of chess players, they're also like super superstitious or like very careful, if let's say you meet them and you say, "Oh, you're gonna win today," and they're like, "Oh no, they're completely broken. They're broken. Like, oh no,
the system's crashed."
he said the W word. What am I gonna do?
What am I gonna do now?
I try to stay away from that, and but some of it for sure is what you said. Try to diffuse tension for myself. That's definitely very much an aspect for sure.
Are you superstitious at all?
No, not consciously. Let's say definitely not from like a rational point of view. I don't see why it would make sense. That if some kind of black cat crossed the road, why would things go bad today? That makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
Like it's just a random cat, and a lot of them are black, and sometimes they go random places. Sometimes they can cross the roads. I mean, it makes no sense at all.
It's up to the cat.
But for sure. But what I do think that, like as I said before tournaments, when we spoke about these routines or the things that you do before the game, I think that having something, like you are looking for something. In your case, actually, it's quite meaningful. I guess it's a conversation you had with your grandfather. So it's actually a meaningful thing. But for many people, it's a meaningless thing. Like many people, they throw the ball at tennis, like twice and then again twice. Let's say it makes no sense. But like it's something they do, something that repeats, that kind of gives them some sort of confidence because. Like you need to get confidence from somewhere, and from where. Some people, they listen to these videos that are like it's not about how hard you get hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done, and all this kind of stuff. And there's this music of like some listen to this Hans Zimmer music, or this Batman Rises, and they're like, and all this. That for sure. But there's not so many things. You could have like a trainer, but who will tell you you're great. I mean, really, like, am I great? Like every time you're gonna tell me that? It's not really. So you're looking for something from where you can gain some confidence.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. And that is not really superstition, but I sort of believe that could help to some extent for sure.
Nice. There's one question I want to ask. It's okay if you don't want to end up answering that. It is that as a chess player, I think because you think logically, you think of the next move, you solve that puzzle, and more often than not, being at the level that you are, one of the best in the world, you are more often than not able to solve that puzzle. You are more often than not able to give logic to something. And with magic also I have that, where I can give logic to the most amazing things in the world. Like the most amazing trick will have a very silly explanation behind it. Because of that, I don't believe in a higher power. I'm atheist because of that. Because I think I believe.
Because you are God, yeah.
No, I'm not God.
In some way.
Yeah, I can figure out what you're thinking. Therefore, I must be God.
Yes.
But do you have that because you're thinking so logically all the time? Do you automatically think that the most amazing things will have some kind of an explanation?
Yeah, but that said, there are things that don't have explanation within our understanding. Like, for example, that whole story of like this string theory, or let's say that let's say the time is like expanding, then shrinking, then expanding, then shrinking, and that there is no starting point, right? So like essentially, like there is no starting point to life, yeah. Or even if you believe in God, let's say you, it doesn't matter what you believe in. In fact, there is no answer to the question, what was the starting point? Because in ours, I guess it's because humans, all the things in our world have a starting point. Everything has a starting point. Our life has a starting point. Life of our parents. So everything has a starting point. But universe, by definition, cannot have a starting point because if it has there's something should have been before that, and there cannot be nothing before that, right? Or if there is nothing before that, then we cannot understand it because we cannot grasp the concept of nothingness and something occurring from nothing. So there is no logical explanation anyway to how things started, whether you're an atheist or not, right?
I mean, the Big Bang. That's what people say. That's how the
Yeah, but what
universe
was there before the Big Bang?
Just planets and not planets.
No,
I mean,
but
I think just
no,
gas.
nothing.
Just gas, I think.
Yeah, but what from where?
Where did the gas come from? I have no clue. I wish.
Who did that?
Just someone farting.
Where did the
That's where
gas
the
come from?
That's where the gas came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can have
but-
that, but I see
But
where you're coming from.
I can always like whatever you can answer me, I can always take you to one step earlier.
Yeah.
What happened before that, and
That's true.
And there will always be, and we will never we'll never have the answer because there's just something we cannot comprehend because in our system of coordinates in our life, that everything has a starting point, and there is never nothing. There's always something.
Yeah.
So we cannot comprehend few of these things. So you can anyway not say that you can figure out these things by just logic or stuff. So,
That's
but
true.
yeah, I have to say that early on I had some questions to the priest, like already like a few questions, and I didn't really think the answers were convincing. But that said, anyway, even if people are atheist, you could also replace many people, let's say, who are atheists. They replace the words like God and stuff with other words like chance,
Yes.
or
Yes.
and also, at the end of the day, I think that I do believe there are like good people and good deeds and bad deeds, let's say, things you do well, things you do badly, and whether it's motivated by your belief in God. If let's say you want to do something good because you believe that you go to heaven afterwards, or whether you want to do something good because of some other reason and you are atheist, I don't think that affects, that makes a difference. So for me, like, I don't really divide people on believers or non-believers. I don't really see the difference, let's say, in that sense. I think you could believe in God and really do bad things, or you could also not believe in God and do good things. I don't think that's just, I think it's just like, it's a bit like I see it, but I also don't see it. In many cases, I see it a little bit like skin color and gender, that I think it's not entirely your choice.
Yeah.
Because it's really not your choice in most cases. Yeah. Many people, they are of certain religion because they're born somewhere. Yeah. And the same way, then you shouldn't hate, let's say, or dislike someone for his religion, the way you shouldn't dislike someone for his gender or skin color or whatever, because it's just something he's got from his, essentially birth, actually, or surroundings. Yeah.
That's a great answer, Anish. I think let's have AJOP in chat, because I totally agree with every single word that you said. It doesn't matter what people are. It doesn't matter if they're atheist. It doesn't matter if they believe. It doesn't matter if they're black.
No, because I also I find it really disturbing people who are like atheists, who are like aggressive atheists as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing the same thing, just in
exactly.
reverse.
I totally agree.
I mean, I don't see the point there. So.
I totally agree. I think aggressive atheism is also terrible. It's as bad as aggressive religion of any kind.
Yeah, it's just the same thing the way around. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't see the point. Yeah.
I totally agree. Joy Datta says that Anish is a phenomenal mimic. Can he do a Karan Singh magic mimicry?
No. I mean...
That's going to be my next reel. That's my next reel. How do you, Faizan Khan says, how do you keep yourself motivated on bad days? That's a nice question.
Bad days.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's okay. Bad days is okay. You don't have to be motivated every single day.
Yeah.
But I think strangely enough, the question is asked really wrong way. I think I am the most motivated on bad days.
Oh, really?
Like on the bad days, of course, I think so. Yeah, like on the day when things are going bad, I am extremely motivated to do better and to work harder and do things better. So I am least motivated on good days when everything was great. And I think like, well, it's always going to be great. I might as well just go outside and just relax today. So I think that motivation is in fact not an issue. On bad days, it's just that, sometimes the hardest thing I think is to sometimes accept that you have a bad day, sort of, and move on. For example, it kind of sounds stupid, but sometimes I have these evenings that I play online, 1 minute chess, for example, and I play badly and it pisses me off. But then the thing is, I want to play more, of course, but the more I play, it just doesn't get better. Yeah. And you have to, at some point, just draw a line and say that, okay, today is a bad day and that's it, Yeah. You cannot change that. And I want to sort of always finish it well, or even if I win a game, I think but it doesn't give me I want to get the satisfaction feeling. But sometimes you have to accept that I think that today is that day when you're not going to get satisfaction feeling. And tomorrow maybe. So just that's it. That's the hardest thing to accept.
That could be Anish talking about a bad day and being motivated. He could also be talking about Bitcoin. It's just a bad day.
Yeah,
just
exactly,
move on.
Exactly. Like for example, imagine you are a trader. For example, imagine you are a trader, and you think okay, so Bitcoin is crashing. Yeah, I have to now do something. Do I sell? No, that's bad, because do I buy the dip? Yeah, but I already bought the previous dip and I don't have the funds, and I want to buy the further dip maybe as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to be like, I'm not gonna buy, I'm not gonna sell, and today was a bad day.
Yeah.
That's it. Let's say.
Yeah.
And that's it. Just it's fine. Yeah. It's a bad day. Just nothing to do. You cannot make it better sometimes. You cannot make it better.
I totally agree. I think you go to Elon Musk and you say, please change your name to Elon Musk. That's a terrible joke. we need a loan from Elon Musk. Stephen Hawking is rolling in his grave. All right, excellent. Let him. Anish, as we all know, changing our habits or starting something new is very hard. How can we someone ease this thing, changing habits? Can you answer that? How to change habits? Bhavesh is asking.
Well, I know one trick. So only one trick I can tell. There's only one wisdom I have on this topic of bad habits. So I know that the way to get rid of a bad habit is to replace. So to get rid of something bad is to replace it with something. So you cannot, for example, if you do something bad every day, let's say let's say every day you drink a can of cola, let's say, and you think cola is bad for you, Coca-Cola, let's say you're bad with sugar. Somehow it's much easier than to just stop doing that, to do something instead, So in this example, it would be, let's say, you drink water instead.
Okay.
So I think that, or if you do something, like, let's say, if you play some stupid game, instead of that game, maybe you can, let's say, play chess instead. I mean, it's also a stupid game, but it's my game, so it's cool.
I don't think it's a stupid game.
But basically, I think that, the advice sort of I heard, and I think that's really sort of could work. Instead of just giving that bad habit up, just getting rid of it, try to sort of replace it with something. Because by replacing, it's easier to replace than to just stop doing something and have emptiness there. And also, often the bad habit is there because it fills in emptiness, right?
It fills in emptiness. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know from myself, if I have a sort of balanced day when I do things, and I just, for example, don't crave bad food. Like, I don't really feel like having chips or something, or I don't crave bad food if everything is good, But actually, if something is missing in my day, then I might be there sitting like, what shall I do? Yeah, I feel like some disgusting greasy French fries, for example. And then you start filling up that hole in your day with something greasy.
Yeah. That makes sense. I think replace things is what Anish is saying, but that doesn't count for bad relationships. Don't replace people like that. I don't think that's a good idea. Someone says...
Sorry, why not? Okay.
No, I mean, if you're dating someone and you replace them instantly, I don't think that's a very bright idea, right?
No, I mean, no. Dating advice is another podcast. Sir.
Dating advice.
It's not here. He's not here.
That's the
Separate
real.
podcast.
That'll be the real coffin. That'll be the real
Yeah,
coffin.
yeah.
I think as we leave, I think you've given brilliant answers, and I think this is so much fun. For me, I think one final question that I'll probably ask you, we're at an hour already, is you've spoken about happiness, you've spoken about it being relative and dy upon dx and all of that. But if you had to pick one thing, maybe right now, maybe in the future, that truly makes you happy, that you feel content, that you feel that, okay, this is brilliant, what would that be?
So you want me to have one thing, yeah?
Any one of them. You can have multiple things as well, maybe 2 or 3 if you want.
That perfect Instagram reel where you take a deck of cards, you know?
And make 4 aces appear out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
no, I think that's the thing. Like you cannot try to limit it down to. But I think essentially, like probably the most important thing is
Whoever's not liked the stream, please do like it. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Go check out Anish's channel. A lot of people are saying magic trick with AG. Magic lag. Is there a lag, Anish?
they say lag, yeah.
Yeah, they're saying lag, but yeah, the stream.
I also see lag. Yeah.
That's weird.
Oh, now it's back. I think now it's back.
It's back. It's back. It's back.
Yeah.
I think it's back. Yeah. Are we back, guys? Can you just like the stream to tell me if you're back? That's weird. The Zoom call didn't lag, but why did YouTube lag? The Zoom call was working perfectly. Interesting. A lot of people saying magic trick with AG. I've never done a magic trick on the Karan Singh Boomer channel ever in my life. Should I break my rule?
That's really the thing, yeah. You don't do a single trick, yeah.
I'd never perform magic on this channel ever in my life.
No, but I would feel too much. Like you already did so many things. Like the time you shared things that you only shared with your girlfriend and stuff. So I think it's already too much. I don't want to have that responsibility, you know.
You don't want
like
to have
at the end of the day, you will say like they'll ask you like, sir, what's one thing in your life you regret? And you're like, yeah, that one time when AG was there, I remember, and I broke my rule. I don't want to be that guy.
You don't want to be that guy.
No.
Maybe we shoot it after this and we upload it on the Karan Singh Magic channel.
For sure.
All right, chat. Yeah. Please go check out Anish on Instagram, on Twitter, on his YouTube, and Twitch as well. please go check him out.
He's yes, please go everywhere, people.
Go everywhere. Go subscribe to him. Go follow him. He's phenomenal. Let's have AGOP in chat. This was a lot of fun. We will do magic after this off stream, and then we'll upload it to the Karan Singh Magic channel. That's really.
Yeah, but it's fine. You have to also give people that thing, yeah, that they are like
they're left wanting
there's something
more.
They exactly they want that something.
Yeah.
That should be great. Yeah, should be great.
And it'll be like McDonald's. By the end of it, it'll be like, it was just shit. We didn't want this.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Please take care of yourself. All of you, stay safe. Take care of the people around you. Get vaccinated if you can.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you everybody for the super chats. Every single penny that we raise goes to COVID relief. This stream specifically is going to go to feed stray animals around the country. That's what we're doing with this one. And the other streams that we're doing, we'll do oxygen and other things like that. All right, guys.